Have you ever felt like someone's words didn't match their actions? Or wondered if someone you trust is truly who they seem to be? The truth is, words can deceive, but actions never lie. They reveal the core of a person, exposing their true character, even when they try to hide it. Today, we'll uncover 5 powerful situations that will show you who someone really is. Whether you're dealing with a friend, a partner, a colleague, or even a leader, these insights will give you the tools to see through their facade and uncover their genuine self. Character is not about what people say in public. It's about how they act in private, how they respond under pressure, and how they treat others. These moments of truth often come when we least expect them, but with the right perspective, we can use them to truly understand the people in our lives. By the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge to assess someone's authenticity, integrity, and values without being swayed by empty promises or superficial charm. So let's begin this journey into understanding human nature and uncovering the hidden truths behind their actions. Prepare to see the world and the people around you through a new lens of wisdom and discernment. 1. How they treat those who can't benefit them. Signs of the most telling signs of a person's true character is revealed in how they treat those who have nothing to offer them in return. Think about it. When there's no personal gain at stake, do they still show respect, kindness, and humility? Or do they overlook and dismiss others as if they're invisible? This is where the heart of someone's values lies, not in how they behave when everyone is watching, but in their treatment of those they might view as insignificant. Olivier Stockholm, the vast artist, claims to have spent years trying to create work without salvation. His paintings, for example, imagine someone interacting with a waiter at a restaurant. Do they speak politely and with gratitude? Or do they act impatient, dismissive, or entitled? When they walk past a janitor or a stranger on the street, do they acknowledge them with a smile or avoid eye contact, as if the person doesn't exist? These seemingly small moments are not small at all. They are windows into a person's soul. They show whether someone has a foundation of empathy and respect, or if their kindness is conditional, only given when there's something to gain in return. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reminded himself to remain humble and grounded, no matter his position. He wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This advice speaks directly to how we should treat others, especially those society tends to overlook. True strength of character isn't measured by power, wealth, or accomplishments. It's measured by how you treat people when you have nothing to lose. Consider this. In relationships, friendships, or even business, someone who shows kindness and respect to everyone equally is someone you can trust. Their actions reveal a sense of integrity that doesn't waver depending on who they're dealing with. On the other hand, someone who is only polite or generous to those they deem important will show their true colors when they think no one is paying attention. Next time you're observing someone, notice how they interact with people like waiters, janitors, delivery workers, or strangers. Are they patient? Do they show gratitude? Or are they condescending, rude, or dismissive? This small but profound detail can tell you volumes about who they really are. It's a lesson in humility for all of us. Treating everyone with respect, regardless of their status, not only reveals good character, but also builds stronger connections and trust with those around us. Let this wisdom be a mirror for your own behavior too. Ask yourself, how do I treat those who can't benefit me? What does it say about my own character? When we strive to live by this principle, we cultivate not just better relationships, but also a deeper sense of inner peace and fulfillment. 2. To how they act under pressure. Pressure has a way of stripping away the masks we wear. In moments of chaos, stress, or unexpected challenges, our true selves come to the surface. When things go wrong, when deadlines loom, plans fall apart, or conflict arises, how we react says more about us than our words ever could. This is why stress is often referred to as the ultimate test of character. It reveals not just our resilience, but also our emotional maturity, patience, and ability to remain grounded in the face of adversity. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone lose their temper during a moment of pressure? Perhaps they yelled at a coworker, blamed others for a mistake, or even retreated into silence, overwhelmed by the weight of the situation. Now, contrast that with someone who maintains their composure. They take a deep breath, assess the situation calmly, and respond with clarity and control. The difference between these two reactions lies in inner discipline, the ability to master oneself before attempting to control external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, faced endless challenges during his reign. Wars, plagues, political betrayals. He experienced it all. Yet, in his private journal, he often reminded himself of the importance of staying calm. One of his famous reflections reads, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words remind us that while we may not be able to control the storm around us, we can control how we weather it. In relationships, business, or everyday life, how someone acts under pressure reveals their true priorities and emotional stability. Do they take responsibility for their actions, or do they shift blame onto others? Do they stay patient, or do they lash out impulsively? These moments of tension are like cracks in a wall. They expose what's really inside. Someone who can rely on, collected, and solution-focused in the face of stress is someone who can rely on and support someone through. If the two traits match, the person's found excellent. So, the next time you're observing someone under pressure, watch closely. Are they able to adapt and stay composed, or do they crumble under the weight? These moments of stress don't just reveal character, they shape it, and in cultivating this inner strength, we can navigate life's storms with grace and resilience, just as the Stoics taught. With this reflection, transition into the next segment by highlighting the importance of consistency between actions and values, especially during trying times. 3. How they respond to criticism. Think of someone who reacts calmly and thoughtfully when receiving criticism. Even if the feedback stings, they process it without letting their emotions take control. This person values self-improvement over ego. They understand that no one is perfect and that feedback, whether it comes from a friend, a colleague, or even a stranger, can be a tool for growth. On the other hand, someone who immediately lashes out, deflects blame, or attacks the critic reveals insecurity. Their reaction is less about the content of the feedback and more about their inability to confront their flaws. The Stoics had a profound understanding of the importance of accepting criticism. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that we should be open to others' opinions without letting them define us. He said, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned only these.'" This response captures the essence of humility, acknowledging our imperfections without losing our sense of self-worth. Imagine this scenario. A coworker points out a mistake you've made on a project. Someone with emotional maturity might say, "Thank you for pointing that out. I'll fix it and learn from it." But someone with a fragile ego might respond with excuses, anger, or even a counterattack, saying, "Well, you make mistakes too." The difference between these two reactions is profound. One shows a commitment to growth, while the other exposes insecurity and a need to protect their pride at all costs. This principle applies to relationships as well. If a friend, partner, or family member brings up an issue or offers constructive feedback, how do they respond? Do they listen and try to understand your perspective? Or do they shut down the conversation with hostility or indifference? A willingness to engage in honest dialogue and reflect on one's behavior is a sign of emotional strength. It shows they prioritize the relationship over their ego. But accepting criticism doesn't mean blindly agreeing with every piece of feedback you receive. It's about discerning what's helpful and what's not, while maintaining humility. A Stoic doesn't fear criticism. They welcome it as an opportunity to grow. They understand that true strength lies not in being flawless, but in being willing to evolve. So, the next time you observe someone receiving criticism, pay close attention. Their reaction will tell you whether they value personal growth or if they're ruled by their insecurities. And as you reflect on this, ask yourself, how do I handle criticism? Do I embrace it as a teacher, or do I let it threaten my sense of self? When we learn to accept feedback with humility, we become not just better individuals, but also better friends, partners, and leaders. Or, what they do when no one's watching. True character isn't revealed in the spotlight. It's what we do in the quiet moments when no one else is around. When there's no applause to seek, no judgment to fear, and no audience to impress. Our actions reflect who we truly are. It's in these private moments that integrity either flourishes or fades. As the saying goes, character is what you are in the dark. Picture someone who preaches honesty but cheats when they think no one will notice. Or someone who loudly proclaims generosity but cuts corners when it comes to helping others without recognition. These inconsistencies reveal a disconnect between their public image and their true self. Stoicism teaches us that our virtue, our commitment to what is good and right, should not depend on external validation. Integrity comes from within, rooted in a commitment to live according to principles rather than appearances. Marcus Aurelius, in his private journal, wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This advice wasn't meant for others to read. It was his personal reminder to stay true to his values, even when no one was watching. He understood that living a virtuous life isn't about impressing others. It's about holding yourself accountable to a higher standard, regardless of external circumstances. Think about a time when you faced a decision in solitude. Maybe you found a wallet on the ground with no one around to see if you'd return it. Or perhaps you had the chance to take credit for someone else's work without fear of being caught. What did you do? These moments define our character far more than any public display of virtue. They are the quiet tests that shape who we are at our core. When evaluating someone's character, observe how they act when they think no one is paying attention. Do they show kindness to strangers without expecting gratitude? Do they uphold their commitments even when there's no one to praise them for doing so? These are the signs of someone with true integrity, someone whose actions align with their values, regardless of external rewards or recognition. Stoicism encourages us to live consistently, guided by principles rather than external pressures. A Stoic doesn't act virtuously for applause or recognition. They do so because it is the right thing to do. Integrity isn't situational, it's a way of life. It's about staying true to your values, even when there's no reward, and even when doing so is difficult or inconvenient. As you reflect on this idea, consider your own actions in private. Are they aligned with the person you strive to be? And when observing others, pay attention to the subtle moments when their guard is down. How do they treat those around them when they believe no one will notice? How do they handle responsibilities or temptations when no one is keeping score? These quiet moments reveal the truth. 5. How they handle power. Power doesn't change people, it exposes who they truly are. When someone is granted authority, their actions under that privilege reveal their deepest intentions. Will they use their power to uplift and serve others, or will they exploit their position for selfish gain? This is one of the greatest tests of character, for power amplifies the virtues or flaws already present within a person. Consider a leader who suddenly rises to a position of influence. If they remain humble, approachable, and dedicated to serving their team, they show that their core values remain intact. They see power not as a privilege, but as a responsibility, a chance to create positive change and help others. But if the same leader starts to act arrogantly, belittles their subordinates, or prioritize personal gain, their behavior reveals insecurity, greed, or a lack of integrity. Their character wasn't corrupted by power, it was simply unveiled. The Stoics had profound insights into this. Epictetus famously said, "The greater the power, the greater the test of character." Power tests restraint, self-awarenesses, and the ability to act in accordance with reason and virtue. A person of strong character will use power to embody justice, fairness, and wisdom. They will resist the temptation to abuse their position because they understand that true leadership is about service, not dominance. History is filled with examples of power revealing character. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers and Roman emperors. Despite holding immense power, Marcus dedicated himself to the well-being of his people. He led with compassion and humility, often reflecting on how fleeting power is in the grand scheme of life. He saw his authority as a responsibility to serve, not as a means of self-indulgence. Contrast this with leaders who have used their influence to enrich themselves at the expense of others, showing a lack of wisdom and moral fortitude. Power also shows us how someone views others. A good leader listens, delegates wisely, and respects the people they serve. They understand that leadership is about collective effort, not personal glory. A poor leader, on the other hand, dismisses input, micromanages, and demands loyalty without earning it. Their insecurity drives them to use power as a shield for their own weaknesses, rather than as a tool for empowering others. Even in everyday situations, power dynamics play out and reveal character. Think about someone in a position of authority at work, in a social group, or even within a family. Do they use their influence to create harmony and fairness, or do they impose their will to get what they want? These small, everyday expressions of power provide a clear window into their true nature. The Stoics remind us that the desire for power often stems from a misunderstanding of what truly matters. Power, like wealth or fame, is external. It's fleeting and cannot bring lasting happiness or fulfillment. What matters is how we use the power we have, whether it's leading a team, guiding a family, or simply influencing those around us. A person of strong character uses power wisely, knowing that their legacy will be defined not by their authority, but by their actions. So, when evaluating someone's character, pay attention to how they handle power, no matter how small or great. Do they remain grounded, compassionate, and just? Or do they let power inflate their ego and exploit others? And as you reflect on this, consider your own relationship with power. How do you act when you're in a position of influence? Do you lead with wisdom and humility, or does the allure of control take hold? The answers to these questions will not only help you understand others, but also guide your own path toward virtue and integrity. And come to actions will always speak louder than words. While anyone can present a polished facade through their speech or outward demeanor, their true character is revealed in their behavior. It's not what people say, but what they do that defines who they truly are. By observing how someone treats others, especially those who cannot benefit them, you uncover the foundation of their values. By watching how they handle pressure, you witness their resilience or fragility. How they accept criticism reveals their humility or arrogance. Their private behavior reflects their integrity, and how they wield power lays bare their deepest intentions. These 5 areas serve as windows into the soul. They not only help us understand the true nature of those around us, but also provide a lens through which to evaluate our own character. Are we kind to everyone, or only when it's convenient? Do we rise gracefully under pressure, or do we let challenges bring out our worst? Do we listen to criticism with a willingness to learn, or do we shut it out in public? And when given power, do we use it to uplift others, or do we succumb to the temptation of control? These questions are not just tools for judgment, but also for self-reflection. By focusing on these aspects of character, you can shield yourself from deceit, manipulation, and disappointment. You can surround yourself with people who value integrity and align themselves with principles that foster trust and growth. But more importantly, this awareness helps you cultivate your own character. The Stoics remind us that while we cannot control others, we can control how we respond to them. By striving to embody the very virtues we seek in others, we set an example and build relationships rooted in authenticity. As you move through life, remember, the world will often try to distract you with superficial charm, grandiose promises, or fleeting appearances. But true character always stands out. It shines through actions, resilience, and the way someone treats others. By learning to observe and reflect, you not only protect yourself, but also deepen your understanding of human nature, a skill that will serve you in every aspect of life. Thank you for watching Path of Stoic. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this wisdom. Stay grounded and keep striving.